The Bitcoin price is starting to climb back up, and if it's a relief rally, if it's a new bull run, if it's a fake out, whatever, a lot of people are starting to wonder, what if I have missed the bottom? Then what? Is it too late now? Should I just FOMO in right now? Or should I be smart, not FOMO in right now? And shall I wait till it goes lower? Well, you know, I'm going to give you my opinion on this. Do whatever you want to do. But if I did not buy, you know, around the bottom, in that case, I would say what I would do right now. And to start with, if you haven't bought the bottom, then you are probably part of the 99.9% of the other people that didn't as well, because timing the bottom is not something that you can do. So let's take a look at the charts. Let's take a look at what I am expecting for Bitcoin to happen right now. Was this the bottom? Was this not the bottom? What can we expect right now? So I think it's a pretty important video. Welcome to this brand new channel, the FOMO Factory. Smash the like button, would help me a lot. And 643 subs. Come on, let's get this to 1,000. I would really appreciate it. Most people that watch this channel are not subscribed yet, so it's only one click away, man. I give you the most valuable content in crypto right now. So let's dive right into the chart. So here's the Bitcoin chart, and Bitcoin is doing pretty good. I mean, we had CPI data coming out this week, and it was better than expected. And, the thing is that a lot of, the bears that are left are bears because inflation, because recession. But the CPI data was more positive than expected, right? And for the rest of the month, that's a good thing. And the next month, we'll see what happens. But for now, there's not something really in the way of Bitcoin, except DTA and the trend lines and the resistances and all that. But there are no macro narratives that give me a good reason that Bitcoin will go, to a new low. I mean, that we have a pullback eventually. Of course, we will have that. That's just how crypto works. But a new low? Nah, in my opinion, probably, maybe you think, maybe you have another opinion about it, and that's completely fair. I mean, leave a comment. I'm really curious to know why people may still be bearish. In my opinion, the bearish sentiment is, I'm not saying it's over, but it's getting better at least, right? So what if you have missed the bottom? Well, the bottom was 17.6K right here, right? Like I said, you probably belong to all the other people that missed it, because you cannot time the bottom. If you try to do that, you will wreck yourself. But I was buying pretty heavily right here, and around the bottom at least. I bought at 18K, at 17.7K, at 20K, and there are all good buys for now. I mean, now we are at 24.5K, so I'm already in profits. And even if for some reason we will go lower again, then it doesn't matter, because that's the solution and that's the answer to this whole question. You should always dollar cost average into crypto, right? If you are in 100% stables right now, okay, so let's hypothetically say I'm in 100% stables right now, because here I thought, no, we'll go lower, and it goes back up. A lot of people are sweating right now, all right? So a lot of people might wonder, like, okay, what should I do? Should I FOMO in right now? Should I wait till it goes lower? And everything has its upside and a downside, right? Because if you FOMO in right now, the upside might be that, we're at 24K. Come on, it was 69K. It's still super low. In the end, in the long run, you will do great, right? But you made a lot more gains if you bought right here, right? So, but the upside is that if you buy right here, maybe a temporary pullback, but eventually you are in profits. The downside is that if you FOMO in right here, it might go lower. And it depends on if you are really weak-handed or not. Because if you buy right here and it goes lower, yeah, if you then panic sell, then it's not a good thing. But if you know that this is only temporary, and I'll go here, if it goes back here, we have a lot of support to break. I mean, we have the 200 weekly moving average. We have a very important horizontal trend line over here, 21.5K. We have one at 20.5K, and we have the biggest one at, around 19K. So, finding new lows, something really weird has to happen in the world, but okay. You can also wait, right? There are a lot of people that say, okay, like now it pumped quite a bit, right? Would it be smart to buy right now? I'm gonna wait. If it goes down and you wait it and you buy then you have a great buy. Then you had some kind of a second chance, right? But if you wait and it goes back up, maybe it now breaks this trend line right here, yeah, then the FOMO gonna kick in, bruh. And that's not what you want. And why do I have this trend line right here? Well, this is a pretty important trend line. This is a trend line that takes it all the way back from November up to where we are right now, right? And the main trend line that, in my opinion, will cause the end to the bear market, because I think we are still in the bear market, of course. This is the trend line that I'm looking at from the top of the bull run just up till here, right? This is where we got rejected. So if we draw it down even more, it will put us somewhere around here. All right, so if we have to break it now, we have to break around 34K, right? If we have to break it end of the year, beginning next year, we only have to be where we are right now. So this is the most important line there is right now, but I haven't drawn it for now because I don't think it's relevant. But this trend line is very important because this was the start of the bear market. This was the top of the bull run. We had some resistance here. We broke it. We found support here, clear support. We broke down again and we found resistance here. And now it's resistance again. So, you know, if we break this, what might happen is the same what happened here, right? We let me get my brush. We break it. We test it a couple of times and we go down again, right? That's a possibility. The difference, though, is that now we have to take a look at the macro. War is priced in. Inflation is, well, pretty much priced in. I mean, people predicted this inflation, right? People predicted this recession. At other inflations back in the day, they came unexpected. So of course the market has a very negative effect then. Now people already knew it, right? Because of the housing prices and all that. So I don't think that's big of a surprise. Now we had COVID priced in. Luna crash is over. These were all unexpected. This was the Luna crash, I think, right? These were all unexpected events, right? Now everything is priced in. Now, of course, we could have another unexpected event. But in that case, you can say that you are always in a bear market because always something bad could happen. Always something good can happen as well, right? So whatever. So I don't expect this to happen, but it's a possibility. What I would like to see is that we, you know, I think every analyst says that we break it, we come down, we test it, and then we go back up, and then we are going to face some big resistances around, well, that's for then, but around 28, 29K is, I think, a very big level. We have some struggles at 24 and a half. We are stuck there right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get rejected now. But I think 28, 29 is even more struggling than where we are right now. But I hope that would happen. But if we go to the daily chart, and this video turned out to be just a kind of a price prediction video at the end of the day, but this is what you have to know if you missed out. Like, okay, but what are the possibilities? I mean, I'm not saying we only go up. Of course, I'm a long-term bull. I think everybody that does crypto is a long-term bull. Otherwise, why would you be in crypto, right? Just to short it? Nah, there are no long-term holders in laws, unless you're trading badly. But like investors, long term, for more than 2 years, you know, you're not in loss. But if we go to the daily chart, what might happen is the following, because like you see, this trend line is a very important trend line on the daily chart. You can see it even better. It's just a perfectly right here, then bounce, slightly support, and then we broke it, resistance. So this chart, this line is, draw it, man, draw it on your, if you have your trading view, draw it. This is the important line, right? But we have some important uptrend line as well, and that's this one, because we are making high highs and higher lows since basically the beginning of July. So for a month now, right? We had a low, we have a higher high, we have a low, we have a higher high, we have a low, we have a higher high that we are forming right now. It depends on how it closes. I mean, yeah, but yeah, this one was already higher than here. Well, we are probably making a higher high right now if we haven't already. So this is an important line to hold as well. So if these two crosses, then it turns out which one is the strongest. Now, this one goes back to all in November, right? So you would have said, like, you would say like, okay, but this is probably the dominant trend line. But this one is tested a lot. And if you push it long enough and hard enough, eventually it will break. So that's something you should keep in consideration. Also, it's not only this trend line right here. It's also the 200 weekly moving average. Yeah, we went down below it and we stayed there for a long time. We tested it as resistance a lot. And once we broke above it, now, as you can see, we tested perfectly as support. So eventually, it depends on how Bitcoin moves, how this one moves. But eventually, let's say it goes a little like this. Well, not perfectly like that, but something like that, right? Eventually we will be in this scenario. So by the, you know, if for some reason we don't hold this line, this diagonal line, it's a battle between the 200 weekly moving average and this trend line. And that will probably play out the latest at the end of August. So, you know, August is a very important month, in my opinion, for Bitcoin. What do I think is going to happen? Well, like I said, the news is getting better. People are really feeling the FOMO. I notice, you know, it's so weird. Above 23.5, everybody bullish. Below, everybody bearish. While doesn't really has like a big difference, right? Of course, this moving average is important, but as you can see, once we break below it, we spend a lot of time this time, relatively to the other times, but we will get back above it. So what do I think is going to happen? I think, personally, that we will finally break above this line, retest it as support, and then we will start make our way to test new resistances. And I showed you the 28, 29 level. There is something in between, of course. There's always something in between. If you take a look at this level, I think, God damn it, why do I always, my trading view is such a but what's there in between? Well, if we break this, then we have, you know, some resistance at 26.5. So let me draw a line right here, because if I zoom out, then so around, you know, around here, it's not always like exactly there. Let me go to the weekly, to the 3 days chart. Let me go back. There's no back, of course. FOMO, very smart. But as you can see right here, it has some, yeah, it's better to see on the, let's pretend I didn't do that. On the daily chart, you'll see there is some stuff going on there, but not a lot. So I don't expect like this is the biggest thing and that's a fake out. So I don't think it's that much of a struggle, but there will be some. So basically the next level we have to look for is 28.5, as you can see right here, and slightly above there we have the 29.5. There was support here and support here, and yeah, a little bit right here, right? So I think that's 24.5 is really important, and we must close it, right? It's not like we must not have a fake out, we must really close it. Fake outs don't count. So if you see that the chart is going up, don't feel like, oh, now I'm gonna buy because it's going to 28, 29. No, you always should keep in consideration that there will be a fake out. Now, do keep in consideration, if we take a look at the daily chart, that's slightly food for bears, then where the fuck did my RSI go? My RSI was like buy, all of a sudden, like, okay, cool. Let's pull up some RSI right here, because the RSI is really telling us something right here. Right, if we take a look at the daily chart, the RSI has been going up pretty nicely. And yes, you can draw trend lines on an RSI. That works, believe it or not. So RSI for now is doing pretty good. And it's not at its highest level yet. I mean, it could go way higher and it could go stay up there for a while, right? So, but the RSI is going towards oversold territory on the overbought territory on the slightly shorter term. Stochastic RSI as well. But like I said, it doesn't mean it can get any higher, right? We were very oversold when we were around here, right? We were low, we dropped all the way to 30K. We were here. People thought like, oh, this is the low. What happened? We went sideways for a while the RSI went up, and then the RSI went completely oversold, and we had a massive drop. So it could happen the other way around as well. So keep that in consideration. It doesn't say everything, but now the fun part comes. If we go to the 3-day RSI, and then this trend line has no use anymore, you'll see that we are, pretty much in the middle. So there is a lot of room to grow. If we go to the weekly RSI, you see that we are still very low, and then these crosses come into play. And I made a previous video about that. Go check it out. Every time these crosses happen, we get a pretty big ass pump. And I showed you the pumps right here. On average, we had a 140% pump, 27, 55, 51, 290, 40, or 50. 30 almost, and now we have one again, and now we are sitting at not quite there yet. I think like maybe 20, something like that. So here's where we crossed, and here is where we are right now, 18%. So pretty, under average, and it's not average for no reason, but if you take the average, there's a lot of room to grow. And then this is for another video, but if you look at the monthly RSI and stochastic RSI, you'll notice that this is so fucking, well, that's for another video. But if you're a long-term holder, if you buy at 24, 28, 18, just buy, man. It doesn't really matter. But if you have missed the boat, like I said, what should you do? Well, I don't know what you should do, but what I should do is I should dollar cost average, because yes, we are sitting quite high compared to where we were like in the last month. That's definitely true. But if it's a break of trend, then you want to catch it pretty soon, and not when the trend is already broken, right? So just dollar cost a bit, dollar cost a bit, dollar cost a bit, dollar cost a bit. At the end of the day, you will be okay. I want to show you something else. Don't be like this guy. And it's not, I talked about this a lot, and it's not because I have bad feelings towards him or that I'm a big fucking hater, but the problem is that he reflects a lot of bears on crypto Twitter and on people in crypto in general, and that's a problem. Because this guy, he always he made some calls, and he killed it in the bear market. Yes, I give him that. Of course, he did a great job by selling at around, what was it, 40, 50K, something like that. I wish I'd done that. That's great. But if you are bearish, I want to point something out. If you are bearish, you have to know, like in November, everybody was bullish. People had to know when it was time to, be skeptical and maybe start, consider the bearish price movement. It's the other way around as well. People were bearish while we were going down. We have seen 17.6. Now we are almost at 25. That's a big difference. You have to know when you maybe should let go of your bearishness a bit, because things are changing. Bears have a certain price level in their mind, and they stay bearish until they get there. But if we do not get there and we will go only up, then if you stick on like being bearish, then you are only wrecking yourself. That's what I don't like a lot about this guy, because he has 500,000 followers. Right? And although everybody knows not financial advice, people actually do take financial advice from how do you say that? Crypto-fluencers, I don't know. Now, he is starting to get short-term bullish all of a sudden. Okay, that's possible, but what up with this? The thing is that he has been making wrong calls for the complete year. Everything he said this year was wrong. He said like, okay, Cardano going to, 27 cents. And what happened, instead of that, it went to 50 cents. And the problem is that, now he says like, okay, it's going to 25,000, 25 and a half, and then new lows. Well, like I said, there is nothing that shows us that there are going to be new lows. But okay, even if it plays out what he says, we will see new lows. The thing is that he is a swing trader and a long-term investor. but he didn't buy the dip, right? And I'm saying he, but with him, like I said, I mean a lot of bears, right? So the bears didn't buy the dip. But if you are a trader, one thing, then you should buy the dip, right? And if you are a trader, then you could have done this. You could have done this. This is Bitcoin, right? You could have made 38% on Bitcoin. If we go take a look at Ethereum, if you are a trader, you could have made 110% on Ethereum. If you go look at some altcoins, Matic did pretty well, for example. If you are a trader, you could have done 200% on Matic, that kind of stuff. Now, if you are now getting bearish, then it's okay, because then you can sell. And if you feel like, oh, new lows are coming, cool, then you can ride this wave down. You know, you can just sell, you can even short, and then you can ride this complete wave and make even more profits. But that didn't happen. He was waiting. Bears were waiting. And in the meantime, this happened, and you let it slip. You're sitting on your hands. Like, bulls were making money, right? And if you are a long-term investor, like he says as well, then I really don't get it. Because if you are a long-term investor, right, and you see the charts of Bitcoin do what it did, right? We went from almost 70K, so 69K. We went, oh shit, it's not even. We went all the way from 70K to 17.5. We went down 74%. If you're a long-term investor, you're just dollar cost. It's such a shame that you ride that complete wave down and then you don't buy because you have your target set here, for another 8%. And then you miss out on all of this, right? So I don't know. It's not like just don't do that. So it's such a shame. So like I said, even if we go down again, which I don't expect, we find new lows for some reason, right? People still screaming for Bitcoin 10K. Yeah. I don't know. I'm changing the subject of this video completely. I'm sorry for that. But people are still saying Bitcoin 10K. Like, but why? Why Bitcoin 10K? It doesn't really make sense. Because if we look at the chart, like I said, if we look at the macro, there's nothing that backs that up, right? Like, okay, but we have war, COVID, inflation, Luna crash, Celsius crash, recession, all that we already know. We all have that. And this is what Bitcoin did. It had a big ass recovery, right? And we had this, right? So why all of a sudden with all the news now would it suddenly drop so much? It doesn't make sense. But even like, why should we go from here to here, drop another 60%, right? I mean, we first have to find support here again. Then we have to find support here at 14K. Then we have to find support here at 12.5K. Then we have to find support around, well, 10, then we're getting to 10. It doesn't make sense. Like all the macro, all the indicators, all the unchained data, like the pi cycle bottom indicator and the 200 weekly moving average. And if you look at look into bitcoin.com, you see all the unchained data that says we at least are near the bottom if we didn't already had it. So when that was here, you know, will there be suddenly, I don't know, man. So it doesn't really make sense. So I wouldn't bet on it. That's all I'm saying. So like, it does make sense. I say, am I getting out of context? Well, not really. Because if you have missed the bottom, what should you do? Well, I'm not saying what you should do, but I would dollar cost. So that's all I'm saying. So sorry for the long ass video. It wasn't really prepared, but I'm seeing so much people talk about this. I had to make a video about it. So for now, that's it. Smash the like button. Leave a comment with your opinion about this. What's your opinion, man? Do you think we had the bottom? Don't you think we had the bottom? Leave a comment. For now, trade safe. See you guys very soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.